Is your life perfect? If you don't think so, or if you're unsure, stay tuned and I'll let you know how I figured out my life wasn't perfect. Hi, I'm Amelia Sims. This is Reinventing You, where you can be inspired to live a life of fulfillment, purpose, and joy. I post twice a week on Tuesdays and Sundays, and I'm so glad you're here. If you wouldn't mind, please send me your email address. There's a link below in the comment section that you can click on. I promise not to send you a lot of spam and unnecessary emails, but I would like to send you a PDF of 6 ways that you can figure out if you're ready to reinvent your life. As I said in my introduction, do you think your life is perfect? In other words, have you ever looked at other people and think, man, they've got it together? Maybe you see a couple and they seem so in love, even after years of marriage, and you just admire them so, and then you find out 6 months later that they've gotten a divorce. Or maybe you go to the doctor thinking, I've lost a couple of pounds, I'm feeling good, I look good, and the doctor informs you that you're going to have to be on some kind of medication. Or maybe you go into work and you think you're doing pretty well and you get a performance review which is your worst ever. Or maybe you're in a career which is sort of dead ending. You're burned out, you don't know what to do next, and you really feel like you're kind of lost. You're in the second half of life. Is that all there is? These questions a lot of times haunt us. We want to know if we have the perfect life. We strive for the perfect life, but really is elusive. Now, I'm not going to claim that you can have the perfect life, but also I want you to realize that sometimes on the outside, it seems like somebody has the perfect life, and they really don't. Take myself, for example. Over 6 months ago, I was a United Methodist minister, which seems like, wow, you must have the perfect life. You're called by God to preach. You are speaking for God. You get to pray with people. You're with people at their best and their worst, from weddings to funerals to baptisms. You are interacting with different people. You are spreading the word. You're teaching. You're leading by example. You're reaching out to people in service, in mission. Wow, that must be the perfect life. Sorry to tell you, but it's not. One of the difficulties that I had with being a pastor is dealing with people. Which I guess in a way sounds terrible because that seems to be the purpose of ministry, to deal with people. But people can be so difficult. And it's not like I went to seminary for 3 years. That is schooling to get my degree, to learn things that I needed to be a preacher. And you learn things like about the Bible, how to preach, evangelism. You learned a little bit of pastoral care. We learned the doctrines of our church, all of those things. But nobody really sat down and say, okay, here's how you be a leader. Here's how you deal with conflict. Here's how you deal with disappointment. Here's how you deal with temptations. Here's how all of these things come together and create a person. It's not just about being in the pulpit or doing a Bible study, but it's all of these other moments. In fact, I found myself as a minister doing things that had nothing to do with actually preaching, but I would consider them putting out fires. And after a while, it led to burnout, no pun intended. In fact, I discovered that being a pastor, a lot of it is burying yourself trying to be what probably God never intended you to be, but what you think you have to be in order to reach people. You lose yourself, and not in a good way. So here I was dealing with burnout. I'd lost myself. I was not being myself. I was being inauthentic. I've talked about that some. And I was facing all of these crises that in no way was I prepared to handle, and they all seemed to happen at one time. It's true, I could have said, hey, I just want to move to a new church and start over again. But then I thought about the process, and I thought about, well, all the things that are going on in the Methodist church, and I just said, I don't see myself getting any better. I knew that I needed to do something with my life, and I really wasn't sure where to begin. And that's where I found this idea of reinventioning so valuable for me and for my life. I realize I don't have to be perfect, and I'm not living the perfect life, but I am far more content and relaxed. In fact, I did have some friends recently say, Amelia, this is the most relaxed we've seen you in a really long time. I don't know where you are, but if you're in the second half of life and you're facing some of these questions and you're wondering, what could I do next? Maybe you're facing illness or the possibility of a job loss or a major change in your relationship. All of those things might indicate that you need to reinvent yourself in one or more areas. I invite you to send me your email address, and I'll send you a PDF of 6 ways that you can determine if you're possibly ready for reinventioning. I can't live your life for you. Only you can, but I know that it's probably not a perfect one. However, I want to help guide you in finding ways to have a fulfilled, joyful, and purposeful life. I want to create a sacred space to help you transform your life. I'm Amelia Sims. This is Reinventing You. Have a life of fulfillment, purpose, and joy. See you on the next one. Whoa. Okay, you're caught. All right. Ooh, and that's crooked.